Hey guys, my name is Wenske. So today for my biology project, I wanted to talk about something that is actually a very widespread topic around the world these days. It is called genetically modified organisms, or for short, GMOs. So GMOs are very unique because they can be used for many different concepts, as well as health issues regarding natural pesticide to decrease the use and making, I should say, of the toxic chemical insecticides. So, a few pros and cons that I do have for you today would be some pros would be that they do have a natural insecticide already built in them. They do have more tolerances to heat temperature, cold temperatures, and droughts, which makes them highly resistant to those temperatures, which means you can pretty much grow them almost year round. And number three, they do have an increased crop yield, so you can produce more crops and less pesticide production, which is a really good plus. So a few cons to this scenario would be that studies have shown that people who do ingest more GMO products than more organic products do report more allergies than the average person who would eat organic foods. And studies do show that GMO products do have resistance to antibiotics, which I thought was a very interesting one myself. And the third topic that I do have to share is that studies show that those who ingest GMO products can have a higher susceptibility to cancer. So don't know what to do about that. That's just something we have to combat. So with those out of the way, I would like to jump back and talk about one of the most common American crops, and it is something that we consume almost every day. So sorry if I butcher this, but the scientific term for this GMO product is Bacillus thuringiensis, commonly referred to as BT corn. BT corn. So, BT corn was introduced into the world because it allowed us to genetically modify the corn's genetic code and turn it into something that is now considered a worldwide natural insecticide. Because of this brilliant creation, farmers all over the world, especially in America, are able to produce these natural insect repellent crops without having to make all those harmful chemical-based insecticide products. So with this, obviously the demand for BT corn is going to increase a lot. And this is going to be increasing ever since the mid-1990s when BT corn was actually created. Even though that genetically modified products have been done for years on end, BT corn wasn't done until the mid-1990s. So I do have a graph that accurately explains my research, and I hope y'all enjoy. The graph shows that in 1995, the GMO use in BT corn is little to nothing. However, in 1996, the production of BT corn began to gain in popularity for the next few years. So, with this, BT corn would steadily increase until it reaches 1999, right here, where it has a slight peak, where it has reached approximately 30% of its land area being used for BT corn products. This side. From 1999 moving on to 2000, there is a slight decline as it reaches the 20% land area because of a slight mold epidemic that only lasted the 1 year. This would lead to new information about BT corn and how it can actually cause less mold on plants. Because insects eat off of or sometimes burrow into the plants to eat, these sites can cause potential infection and can produce mold. However, once BT corn was meant to kill these insects, mold rates will naturally go down due to the fact that the insects have nothing to eat, because it is all insect repellent. So, going back to 2001 right here, after the mold crisis, BT corn started making its way into farmers' land a lot more. Farmers like not having to buy expensive harmful insecticides. It was better knowing that they can grow something that they know from the start is protected. So from 2001 going all the way to 2009, this little chunk right here, the average land area where BT corn is commercially grown is up to a staggering 60% land area for U.S. crops. After plateauing for a few years between 2012 and 2013, the land area dedicated to corn crops rose from 60% to 75%. of land dedicated to corn crops and was covered by BT corn. As much as this sounds like it's the journey of a great era of GMOs, wait until you hear this. According to the same graph, the insecticide use has gone down drastically since the creation of BT corn. Since 1996, insecticide around the US was around 0.2 kilograms per hectare, meaning 1 hectare, meaning 2.417 acres per 1 hectare. So that would be right here, starting in 1996. This kept slowly dropping until we hit 2001 with a usage rate of 0.15 kilograms per hectare right here. As 2001 proceeds into 2002, use of insecticides significantly decreases from 0.15 to 0.05 kilograms per hectare. The reason as to why it had such a significant drop is kind of eluding, to say the least, because once the mold epidemic of 1999 to 2001 happened and everybody figured out that it wasn't because of the GMO products, the climb of BT corn was going strong. So why does the artificial insecticide use dramatically decrease after the dilemma is strange to me. However, let's just be happy that it just goes down. With that being said, in 2003, insecticide use raised quite significantly, reaching a usage of 0.14 kilograms per hectare. So the reason for this growth is the creation of the Pesticide Registration Improvement Act of 2003. It states that it allowed greater governmental review of potential insecticide pesticides, that could be used in crops. So under this act, it also amended what is known as FIFRA, or technically known as the Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act. So this states that the United States can regulate pesticide distribution and sale and use unless people, meaning the farmers of America, have proper licensing and registrations by our EPA. So as of 2003, being at 0.14 kilograms per hectare, as we would have hoped, the usage of insecticide drops back to a great low of 0.05 kilograms per hectare as of 2001 through 2002 as well. So, also as of 2003, moving forward all the way to 2010, we have such a significant drop where it pretty much goes to nothing. I think it is pretty much safe to say that GMOs have won this battle. Yay! Consumers and producers finally realized that after years, people don't want to eat artificial killers for pests and insects on their food. They would rather eat something that was made to be heavily consumed and enjoyed by humans rather than able to kill any unwanted insects. So while BT corn had very beneficial contributions toward U.S. farmers, it wasn't just in America where GMO magic happens. Many countries across the globe have done plenty of research regarding genetically modified organisms. A great example of this is another great advancement in the GMO world. We're going to be talking about golden rice, specifically revolving around what it is, the history behind it, how it was made, why it was created, and the main purpose. So, golden rice is indeed a genetically modified organism, rice grain, that is mixed with carrot DNA codes to allow it to be very rich in vitamin A, because originally carrots are naturally rich in vitamin A, so they figured within third world countries, which is where most of the occurrences for having lack of vitamin A, they figured out that white grain rice was mostly incorporated into their diets in these countries, and as a result, they weren't getting enough vitamin A in their systems, and ultimately resulting in blindness, which we figured out was actually not very good. So they wanted to try and do something about this. Well, they decided to make this genetically modified organism where they got white rice grains, inserted carrot DNA into it. So they finally got a grain where these countries, who obviously have the diets majority with rice, they can ingest something that is now very rich in vitamin A, and because of this, the blindness rates has significantly gone down. It is amazing what GMOs can do regarding to what its benefits are and how it's changed the food production industry as we know it. I am personally in favor of the genetically modified organisms because it allows us to keep eating the foods that we love the most, while at the same time being able to kill off any pests, insects, because of it, just a simple insertion of either a healthy bacterium in our soils or inserting the DNA from one organism to another. So either way, it pretty much almost works in our favor. So producers get to save loads and loads of money and grow more crops because of it. And consumers don't have to worry about putting harsh chemical artificial insecticides into our bodies. So to me, it's almost a win-win situation for everybody. So let me know what everybody thinks. I would love to hear everybody. And thank you so much for your time.